It came down to you have to understand when people tell you who they are, you need to believe them. When people tell you who they are, you need to believe them. Tony O'Tonnell, the union president, stated he is afraid, the word is afraid, to let his kids ride the subway. Tony O'Tonnell needs to be removed from office. Charlie, what you say?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he should have been removed a long time ago. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that a couple of years ago, when a fellow transit worker was killed, he said that it was because he was overweight. I mean, do you remember that?
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
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 And, I mean that. First of all, that railing is supposed to hold up to 800 pounds. Am I correct? Or
I was a
1,600
track
pounds?
worker that fell through the floor.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And his statement was, "Oh, he was a big guy." Big guy. Really? What the hell does that have to do with him falling? It was a safety issue. But anyway, yeah, I'm digressing. He shouldn't been removed. I mean, he's done nothing for this union. He's been. Let me tell you something. He's been with this union in one form or another for 40 years. Do you know that when he joined the union, the average salary was $11,000 a year. Okay, a Big Mac, a large fries, and a soda was $2.50. Okay, gasoline was like $1.13 a gallon. What else? Housing, a house was 68,000. Average price was $68,000. That's how long this guy's been there. He has been there so long. He's a dinosaur, and dinosaur. What happened to dinosaurs? They became extinct. He's the last of the dinosaurs. He has to go.
What do you say about this? The statement that he made, how did it make you feel, sir? I mean, was it warranted? Was it disrespectful?
It made me feel like he just don't give a fuck about the members. Bottom line, you care that much about your kids, where you can tell your kids, if you're going into the city, take an Uber or take a cab. Our kids got to ride the subways.
Well, who pays for that?
We pay for that.
We pay for
We
that?
pay for that.
My goodness.
Yes, we pay his salary.
So our money is used to take his kids.
Here's a dude that's wanna, this is all coming from transit, man. It's coming from transit. You got to understand. Transit is throwing an interception within the union and the members right now to try to deceive us. And we cannot fall for that. We cannot fall for that. See, they, all right, let me just go right here like this. One, the comment that he made was very disrespectful.
Agreed.
To the members in total. You're telling your kids you don't want them on the bus or the train. You prefer for them to take a cab. Why? Because you don't feel it's safe. But yet Sarah Feinberg just told us on the news last week that the subways are safe.
Somebody lying.
So what's going on here? What's going on here? Now let's think now. The contract, our pay free, our raise, the free that they threw out there, they threw that out there just to stir up the pot.
Right.
All right. Transit threw that out there to stir up the pot. They know damn well they couldn't touch our raise because it's contract.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
All
too.
right. That's a contract.
Yep.
They could not touch that. They know they couldn't touch it. That's why you didn't really hear a stir up about it. You know what I'm saying? That was just a front to get the money from the federal government.
Right.
If y'all don't give us this stimulus money, we're gonna have to cut back on jobs and lay people off, and we can't give them their raise. That was all a front. Now, for O'Tonnell to go, for him to even sit there and say we got a victory. Transit is getting this stimulus money, and there's no more talks about the layoffs and the raise. We're gonna get our raise. What victory did we win?
Oh, we're gonna talk about
Where's
that.
the victory at?
We're gonna talk about that.
Where's the fucking victory?
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Everybody sitting back like, oh, we getting our raise. We was getting that regardless.
Yep.
We was getting that regardless. Now, the main thing you should be paying attention to is this man sat there on national TV and said, listen, I don't care. I tell my kids when they going into the city, take a Uber or take a cab.
Which we
Let the union members
pay
pay
for.
for y'all ride into the city. Don't get on the trains because it's not safe. But yet we got to go down there every goddamn night and work.
Yes. And don't forget,
So I mean, what is it?
we can't fight back because you don't want to
They
lose your
beating
job.
us in the head. They beating us in the head with this nonsense about if you touch or spit or assault a transit employee, you're getting up to a year in jail.
That could be 6
When
months.
they say up to a year in jail, that's the max that they're gonna give you. You understand what I'm saying? But if I go out here right now outside and knock somebody down, they're gonna give me a 3 to 4 or a 5 to 10. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Our lives don't mean that much. As long as we got on that blue, we got the wrong blue on. That's what it is. We got the wrong blue.
The wrong blue.
It's not NYPD blue.
Right.
It's transit blue. We got the wrong blue on. They really don't give two shits about it. Now, what we need to do is get that dude up out of there. He got to go. And if y'all don't feel like how I'm feeling, then y'all got a problem.
Let me point out that Yutano is the president of the union. Okay, we work for transit. What he's telling people is that it's not safe to ride the trains, and which is going to mean less riders. Less riders means less workers, because why would you have so many workers? So that's when layoffs start. I mean, how could he start a chain reaction like that? With his statement, he caused a chain reaction. Did you see Sarah Feinberg's the look that she gave to him when he said that?
Yeah, she looked at
She
him like,
couldn't
don't
believe
say
it.
that.
But regardless, with or without that statement, transit is already doing that, bro.
Yes.
They done laid off 29. They done took 29 jobs from train operators and 29 jobs from conductors.
Well, they actually
Off
take
the
it.
F and the C line.
They actually take
Off
it
the F and the C
22.
line.
They actually
They done cut them
through
jobs.
attrition they lost 20. They say they lost 2,200 jobs through attrition. Okay, those jobs aren't going to be filled.
Let me bring Stanley.
Now-
Yeah. Stanley, what do you think about his comment? What do you think about what he said, sir?
It just proves how out of touch he is with the member, and that you can't possibly represent people where you have nothing really in common with. He don't understand what it is out there. He made a comment also in that same interview where he said, what about members going and asking or talking or trying to tell homeless people that are either laying down or being a problem to try to talk to them. He don't even know that we're encouraged not to, because number one, we're not police officers, but number two, God forbid something happened to us, transit going to hold that against us. He didn't even know what the rules were, and that the rules doesn't allow us to interact with these people, because the first thing they're going to say if we get hurt is that you're not the police. They're not going to want to pay you no comp, and they're going to make it look like it's your fault for trying to intervene. So all of that he didn't tell them. He telling them, well, it was sort of half right, because he said, yeah, they would be scared to tell them anything, which is right. But then he didn't want to put out the shot. The real deal is the fact that transit is not going to support you. Transit is going to controvert comp, number one, if you're hurt. Number two, also the possibility of discipline coming along with it. None of that he pointed out. All that he left out. He just said, oh, they're going to be scared to interact with them or say anything to them. That was his take on that. As far as that comment about, I employ my kids to take a cab or Uber or whatever, as far as I'm concerned, he's saying that the same workers that pay him his salary, that he should call himself leading as being that he's saying that our work is not good enough, or what we do, or we do not clean the trains, good enough, or whatever is not good enough for his kids to come down and use the same and use the train. Like I said, a lot of these people that call themselves in leadership positions, supposed to be looking out for us, are so far out of touch. They haven't been on a train in years. Everything that is for them is above ground. They got their drivers, their cars. You know, the president of the union is provided with a car as well as a driver or whatever. If he don't have a driver, he does have a driver. But even though he has a driver and a car that's given to him by the union. Okay, so he don't ride in the system. We asked him when the last time he walked through the system, just walked through the system, just to let members know that he's concerned, that he understand our plight. He does none of that. So how can you represent us?
You know, all I can say to the attention to the TWU members, how much more proof are you going to need? Between the pandemic and this statement, how much more proof are you going to need for you to give this president a vote of no confidence and then vote him out and send him back to his tools? Because most likely he's going to retire. Most likely he's going to retire.
Yeah, he couldn't walk out the door. Yeah, he definitely have enough time to walk out the door. But you know, him losing the position as president wouldn't sit well with the international, because the international want to control the local. Because the bottom line is this: the local is the biggest part out of all the locals that are part of the family or part of the international. We pay the most money, and we are the biggest of all of them.
That is correct.
And they want to control this local here by putting in a puppet or somebody that's going to be conducive to what they want to do, which is nothing. They really haven't done nothing. The international haven't ever ruled on anything for the members when it came to any problems within there that was brought to them. They never ruled for the members. They didn't even support us on the strike. They had the nerve to sit there in a courtroom and said, no, they didn't support the strike. So why are we allowing them to continue to manipulate and control this local? That's my point here. And that same mentality still exists to this day. They haven't ruled on anything beneficial for the members of this local.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because, you know, the MTA was giving out DANs like Pez dispensers. Now, both clerks, cleaners, and I found out yesterday, supervision got DANs, okay? People who were on vacation got DANs, okay? Now, what is the solution to stop this nonsense? Charlie Munoz.
Well, when somebody makes a false accusation, it leads to anxiety, tension, anger. Guess what? You falsely accuse me of something, you better back it up, because I'm going after you. Okay, and that's what these unions should be doing. If a supervisor writes a DAN, falsely accuses you of not showing up for snow duty or not doing this or not doing that, well then you should write that supervisor up and let's see how he likes it. Okay, I guarantee you, once we write up that supervisor, he won't do it again. He or she won't do it again.
Okay, so one of the solutions is that to begin the process of writing up supervision. Writing up supervision, when they want to give you a DAN, you write them up. Okay, Ward, what do you say? With all of this stuff going on with the DANs, because people who are on vacations got DANs. Talk to me, sir.
Well, I mean, it's not per se the supervisors.
Okay.
It's the superintendents or somebody sitting back that ain't doing what they supposed to do, passing the buck down to the supervisors. You know what I'm saying? They got a list, or more than likely they write all of these DANs up and send them to the supervisor, and the supervisor got to bring them around.
Right.
So it's not per se the supervisor, actually. You know what I'm saying? But like Charlie said, you know, whoever name is on that Dan, and they're accusing you of something that got, if you're on vacation, how could they even attempt to write you up for not showing up for snow duty? There should be some consequences behind that.
I
There
agree.
should be some consequences behind that.
Agree.
You know?
Well, there usually is. And it's just, they're confident that they're not going to be held accountable because the union is not going to push the issue about them writing up so many members like they do. And they're not accurate with their information. There's a total breakdown within the union, right? And the mentality that exists with transit. You see, the union is like an extension of transit, because you can't be that incompetent or that unknowledgeable about the rule and regulations, or for that matter, on how to represent members. You can't possibly be that ignorant to the fact. But then, like I said, nothing that ever surprised me with these guys. Some of this stuff is elementary. You could look this stuff up. You know, if you're fighting for members, then you're fighting for your members. Let me be point blank with this. And I've been in this for a moment, and I can say exactly what I'm about to say and be very accurate, because it is a systemic type of racism that exists here. And it's been going on in here for a long time. And if you're going to go up against it, it's going to be a hell of a fight, because they're used to it. And not only that, there's a lot of people that get money through whatever with transit, and a lot of people don't want to even participate. You appeal to politicians. A lot of them that want to keep their hands off of it, because they know exactly what's going on in this. And a lot of them need, and to me, they should realize that some of these people are your constituents in here. And why wouldn't you not want to step up and stop the abuses that go on in here? You know, there are some abuses that goes on in here that actually breaks the law. And these people are hiding behind the shield, the MTA shield, and figuring that, you know, that there will be no consequences for their actions. So yeah, that's why a lot of this stuff goes on the way it does. Somebody's coming in here.
Yeah, it says, how are you? They're connecting. Hello.
Hi, it's Lee Ireland.
Hey, Mr. Ireland, how you
There
doing?
you go.
Okay, I
Sir.
finally figured it out.
Yes, sir. So let me ask you a question. The situation of DANs. The MTA is giving out DANs. Do you think that's right or wrong? And what would be your solution?
Giving out DANs for what? You
Well,
mean for
when it came to the snow duty, sir, they basically said that if you didn't come to work, they gave you a DAN, and some people got DANs when they were on vacation. What is your view on that, sir?
I think it's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Forcing people to come to work. Forcing people to come to work when they're off. When they're off.
Yes, sir. Now,
let me point out,
Yes,
Kenny,
sir.
one thing. Also restricted duty. People who are on restricted duty were given DANs for not showing up for snow duty.
wait a minute.
Now,
Well, people who are on restricted duty were given
Yes.
DANs. Now, when
Yes.
you're on restricted duty, doesn't that mean that you can't do regular? Okay,
that's right.
Go
That's
ahead.
right.
Of course, of course,
Absolutely.
of course, of course. And that's why we're supposed to have a union that's supposed to step in and fix these problems.
you know, I have to go back to the contract ratification. Charlie Staley and myself, we made videos urging the membership of the stations department to vote no. And we were very, very successful, because a lot of people were thinking about exactly what the union leadership was offering. And they were like, wait a minute, we can do better than this, you know. Then all of a sudden, the union itself, stations department, began putting out their videos. After we put out saying no, they had to push back. So what they did was they got the information of the union contract and they thoroughly explained the information to the department that the department could make a conscious choice. But my situation was this: we are now in a crisis mode, okay? We're in a crisis mode. So where are the videos? Where are the videos to explain the AVA issues? We have people in our department that have AVA issues. I get the actual texts. They basically are trying to get an AVA, and the person on the desk is taking their time and doing it. And sometimes they don't even want, and sometimes they don't even want to do it themselves. So shouldn't we have some type of explanation of how to take care of business when it comes to the AVAs? What about the explanation of the DANs? What do you do when you get a DAN? What do you do when you get a DAN? How do you respond? What about FMLA? What about making a video on FMLA? Okay. What about a video on how to instruct women who need accommodations? And forget about the other one about tier 6. Okay. These are things that have to be, and I hate to use the word, but it has to be done that we can know what to do. That we can know what to do. Now, when it came to the ratification of the contract, they went out of their way to make sure that everybody knew what was going on. Charlie, do you think that they're trying to not give us the information, or they're just lazy?
Both, combination of both. They're lazy, they're complacent, they management friendly, and they're useless. I hate to say it, but the majority of people in the station department that represent us didn't show up to meetings. You know, they're not knowledgeable because they didn't show up to meetings. They weren't involved in anything that pertained to members. The members, I mean, I can name at least 4 or 5 union reps that are on this administration, under Kelly's administration, who never appeared in meetings. And you have to a certain amount, show up to a certain amount of meetings. And I can bet you any amount of money these people did not meet the criteria, and they were elected. They put the rules for them.
Let me bring Ward in here. Ward, doing the contract ratification.
Let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Let me just say this. During the contract ratifications, right?
Yes, sir.
Witchard was in control. Witchard had his little videos he was posting, and he had every last one of his flunkies, you know what I'm saying, say something. Oh, I would vote for the contract because this. Every last one of them did it.
Right.
Okay, that was all a show. We know that. Now, Kelly is in charge, right? Witchard is no longer there as far as stations is concerned. Kelly is in charge, right?
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen a video. I haven't seen not one video.
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen not one video about nothing.
They should have videos explaining things to members, okay? Most members may not know what to do when they get a DAN, all right? A lot of people are getting sick and have to go out on FMLA, and they're on Facebook asking questions. It will be simple. It will be simple. Just make a video about A to Z and just put it out there, giving the information to the members. We had a woman who lost her child, okay? And the big thing came up about women who need accommodation. I mean, come on, make a video about that. Or you don't want to make the video because you don't care. It's not important. It's not important. Mr. Ireland, what do you say? During the contract ratifications, there was a lot of information going out there, but now it seems that there's nothing, and everybody's looking to everybody to get the information, and it should come from the union. What do you say, sir?
I say that how can anybody have any confidence in the fact that they saw the whole contract? There's no proof whatsoever that we saw the whole contract. No proof. Zero proof. And how can you believe in the administration that rigged the last election? How can you trust them to give you any information that's real? I mean, how do we have an executive board that actually had a majority of voting in favor of a contract that they're not even sure that they saw the whole thing? The mere fact that you didn't see the whole contract, or that you have any doubts whatsoever, is enough to vote no on the contract. What do you think?
Well, I say we should have voted no. I think we should have voted no all the way around. I think RTO voted it down, and bravo for them. I think the station department should have voted it down. Let me ask you a question. You're on the executive board. Do you guys give pushback to Mr. Yatano and the rest of those people who are on his team, or do you just let him do what he wants?
I am the president's #1 elected rival in this local. And they antagonize me on the executive board. But I keep going at it. They even threatened to bring me up on charges. And when I didn't stop, they actually formally wrote me up and brought charges against me to remove me from my position. And they voted in favor of putting a trial committee together to hold a trial to remove me from my position. And that was like around 8 months ago. They haven't gone any further since.
Well, I'm glad you're still there, sir. I am glad you're still there. Stanley, what you say?
As far as
No.
this concerned, go ahead.
The question is, what do you say pertaining to the whole point of them doing videos pertaining to the contracts? But when it comes to the AVA issue, the DAN issue, FMLA, women with accommodations, tier 6, and on and on and on, they have not put out any type of information to help the members. Most members are asking questions on Facebook to see if somebody can get them some help.
Well, it's just like, it's point blank. They're just not doing their job. Point blank. This issue, and most of them are contractual issues as well. These guys are just sitting back, and management is like testing their middle, and they're not stepping up to the plate. It's bad enough not being knowledgeable of what you're doing, but even worse, not even trying to look up and protect the people that you're supposed to be there representing. Management always challenge the mentality and the ability and the education of the people that work within the union hall, in the confines of that hall. And they see how hard or how willing they are to fight for us. And a lot of them just come in there. And the worst part about it is, even within the union, it's not being addressed about those that are incapable of doing the job. A lot of them people that's sitting in there, one, never been to meetings. Two, most of them has no background on anything or any kind of knowledge of the contract, or for that matter, or about discipline, or know anything about the book on discipline. So there's a lot of area that we're lacking in, and we got the weakest people within the union. So management does what management does. They always take a shot at them to see what their response would be. If they had qualified, competent people to respond to management, this game would not be the way it is. Right now, it's just all over the place, all kind of incompetent. You know, the issue with AVAs, automatically, how many people could take off now? All of a sudden, the contract says what it's supposed to be. Now they making it what they want it to be. These are issues that leadership in that hall is supposed to be stepping up and correcting and stopping them from doing, and they're just not doing it.
Well, let me ask you a question, because we had a situation this past week. It's about disinformation. This union puts out disinformation and tells the membership, we won. They have misled the membership into a false sense of victory. Now, what I'm talking about is this whole contract stuff, okay? Ward touched on it brilliantly in that this was contractual. Charlie, let me bring you in. Was this a victory, sir?
No, it wasn't a victory. It wasn't a win. We didn't win anything. We just didn't lose, okay? And we weren't going to lose anyway because it was an ironclad contract. The only way that could have been changed is if both parties agreed to change it, okay? So how is it a victory? Really? It's the same thing. They cried victory as well during the lunch relief, the decision by the judge, which isn't a victory at all, because the judge just said you have to have public, and nothing occurred. I mean, the union hasn't done anything to this day. They haven't done anything to let the public know that these lunch release jobs are going to be cut. They are looking to cut these jobs. I mean, just the other day, they started installing Omni on the gates. So that shows you right there that They're looking towards the future to eliminate the station agents. And people, I don't know if they're oblivious to this or the union is ignoring it. I don't understand what's going on, because people wake up, your job's on the line, and the union isn't doing anything to try to save it.
Mr. Ireland, what is your take on this whole thing? Of, all of a sudden, miraculously, the MTA says, "Oh, we're not going to stop the raises when it was contractual." What do you say about that, sir?
It was all a false news.
Agreed.
It was all a farce. This has been going on for years. I've been in this job 37 years. This kind of stuff goes on all the time when they're trying to beg for money. And the other part of that is it also helps Utano look good when it doesn't happen. Then he can claim that he did it. It's all a farce. All this fake news that is put out there to make our union president look like he did something. It was just choreographed.
I agree, but see, the bad part about it is that this is not only the first time that they did that. Okay, I've been down here about 4 years, and I've seen this done again and again and again. We go to the contract ratification. They push the narrative that this is going to be a good contract. Yeah, it was a manager-friendly contract, and the membership voted for it. They were fooled. They were misled. Then you go back to the AVAs in the stations department. All of a sudden, all AVAs are canceled. Management says we're canceling all AVAs. Next thing you know, when management wanted to, they brought the AVAs back. Kelly and Witch are like, "Oh, we have a victory. We have a victory. We have a victory." A victory would have been when they canceled it. You stepped up, fought them, and immediately they brought it back. Okay, this was not a victory. This is something that they took and then they gave it back. Okay, just like the lunch release positions. Okay, we have a pit that's about to start in the stations department. Okay, I thought that you couldn't do anything without there being some type of a public hearing. Okay. I mean, what was the purpose of having the judge go through all the things that he went through and doing this ruling and stuff if we're just going to start the pit, okay? And I haven't seen whether the lunch relief jobs are going to be on there or not. But bottom line is that there was supposed to be some type of a hearing, and they're not adhering to what the judge has said. Because I guess it's time sensitive, and I don't think that they did it in the right proper time frame. Stanley, what you say? Are they deceiving the members?
Of course, that's what the union has been doing for years. This here gives management a look. When we sit back and allow the union to deceive us, it makes management look at us as being not too smart, and it lets them continue to do what they're doing to us. And that's that's a very bad part about it. And like I said, the main thing is to fight back that you show them, and they're not doing none of that. We're actually we're paying to be represented by a union that's not representing us in the first place. They're not properly representing it. Let me phrase it like that, because in certain aspects they swear they are representing us, but when it comes to issues of discipline, being down there at 2 Broadway when they're doing hearings, when it comes to technical issues such as the contract, and even this false statement they put out about transit wasn't going to give us the raises that were upcoming. All of that was just management and the union conspiring together, because management, number one, knew they could not do it in the first place. In order for them to be able to do that, everybody, like I said, fire department, PD, FY, FDNY, all of them would have had to have the same type of issue. It had to be a bankruptcy for the city or the state, and saying that we can't pay these people. That's the only way. And you didn't hear nobody telling any of them other agencies they wasn't going to get their raise. It was just a shot at us because of a weak union and people that just want to sit on their hands and act like they're doing something, and they're actually doing nothing for us.
Brother Ward, you spoke about this earlier and you opened up the door. The bottom line is that contractually they couldn't do it. okay? What do you think is going to be the next move from this union leadership since they use this deception upon us? Because Malcolm was correct. It's not technology, it's tricknology. So they got more tricks coming our way. So,
Of course.
so Brother Ward, what do you think that they're going to try next? I mean, because it appears that the wintertime is over, summer is coming up, and you guys got your CTA pick coming up. So,
Listen, man, we done put the boots on. We done tied them up tight. They know we coming. They know we coming. Everybody gotta go. I'm telling you now, the only way we gonna survive is everybody in there has to go.
now we're not talking just
Right
station
now-
department. We're talking everybody.
Everybody. Everybody. I'm listening to the reps for RTO talking smack. You know what I'm saying? Praising Tony. Yo, listen, man, I'm like this here. Bottom line, for the past 15 years, I have seen nothing done for me by the union. But they take my money every paycheck. Every paycheck. Even when I was a conductor and got into that issue, they didn't even, they had a dude representing me that didn't know nothing about nothing. He couldn't even talk at my hearing. I did the talking. And you know what I told him at the end result? Send me back to my previous job title. It's too much headaches. RTO, blood money. It's too much headaches. I don't need that. I got gray hairs already, man. I can't get rid of them. Now, if I'd have stayed over there in RTO, no telling what my hair would look like. It'd probably be white. Real talk. But as far as union representation, where they at? Where are they? I've been on my station. Matter of fact, I've been on the last 3 stations that I was at for 9 years. I've never seen a union rep come near. The only person that I've seen when I needed help from the union, Anthony T. Stanley, boy. That was the lifesaver for me. You understand what I'm saying? Now it's crazy when you got people from RTO. Because you know, when you go down for a hearing at 2 Broadway, they got, if you're from stations, they got a station representative there for you. If you're from RTO, they got an RTO representative there for you. You know, they got it like that. Man, I done seen bus operators coming in and request Stanley. And it pissed them off down there, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because that man did his due diligence. He go up in there and he do his job. He get the specifics of what happened and break it down to where you come out of there with little to nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas if you go in there with one of the representatives that's down there now and come out with 30 days in the street.
Yeah, I've heard about those things. Yeah.
Real talk, man.
Yeah.
Real talk. As far as them people down there in the union right now, man, they only down there to receive a check. I say send them all back to their job titles. Get them out of there. They got to go.